Talk about longevity. Is that a word? Staying power. Let's talk about humility. So I was talking to my mentor the other day, and she mentioned how she made a mistake in her youth. We're talking about staying power, sticking power. So anyway, I was talking to my mentor the other day, and she was sharing how she made a mistake in her youth because she was starting out, and there was another woman who had been in business for 15, 20 years. And she was feeling herself, as folks will say, she was smelling herself, because she, after like a year or two, she would find herself speaking at similar events to this woman. Like, oh, you here? I'm here, sis. She's every once in a while will be on the panel, and that woman would be on the panel too. Oh, you here? I'm here, sis. And so my mentor, it's like I said, she was young. She was like maybe in like her 20s or something like that. She started feeling herself, and I think what she was telling me is that the woman who was a little bit more established asked to partner with her. And my mentor said that she's ashamed to say that she was feeling herself. So she was like, nah, I'm good. And so the established woman was like, okay. And then went on to greatness, right? So my mentor said that what happened next was that the established woman was partnered with someone else and helped to elevate her up and away, to the point where my mentor never quite caught up. And so I was asking her, like, okay, so the lesson, she said the lesson that she learned, if you are listening, I was just sharing a story about my mentor, the lesson that she learned, that you can be on the same stage with someone, but not be on the same stage with someone. So if you guys are familiar, with Summer Jam, right? So Summer Jam is like this huge summer concert where hip hop artists perform. Jay-Z established. He might be Summer Jam 10, and then a new artist might be Summer Jam 1. They're on the same stage, but they're not on the same stage, if you will, right? Or, for example, this is what my mentor was saying, the lesson she learned is the difference between, I wish I had like a physical prop. So this is the difference between a light pole, right? So this light pole is stuck in the ground, and maybe the ground covers it about this much so the light pole can stay. And the difference between that and a tree, the light pole might actually be taller than the tree. So my mentor was the light pole, taller than the tree, feeling herself, looking at the tree like, girl, you've been in the game for years, but I'm right next to you, sis. And then a little bit of friction, a little bit of hard times shakes the light pole and the tree. And the light pole doesn't have what? Roots. The light pole doesn't have roots. And so it cannot sustain what this tree can sustain. So the lesson I'm sharing, exactly, same stage, different level. So the lesson I'm sharing is this. This is just also for myself to always remember, there is that when you're deciding that someone ain't actually, oh girl, we the same, we doing the same. To be mindful that you can be on the same stage with someone and they can be light years ahead of you because they have deeper roots that you are not even aware of. And oftentimes, that your parent, you might be like, oh, we're mates, and you're not mates with them because the relationships that they've built, the lessons that they've learned, like my mentor, one of my mentors, on the surface, it might look like I'm doing better than her. Like, oh girl, no, I do not make that mistake to think I'm doing better than my mentor. Because the connections, the contracts, the things that she has brought into my life. So yes, on the surface, it might be like, oh, Tiffany out here shining. I dare not disrespect my mentor to think in any way, shape, or form that we are at the same level. Even if my stage looks a little bright right now, brightness is temporary. Because this is, I can't do this. When I first met my mentor, one of my mentors, she drove me home from an event because I was so broke. I was taking a train. Not to say you're broke if you're taking the train, but I could not afford anything else but the train or the bus. And she said, you want to ride home? I said, yes. And I admired her because she was where I wanted to be, and she still is. And I remember she asked me, have you ever been on TV? Let me tell you the level of bossness. And I said, no. She said, do you want to be on TV? And I said, yeah, one day. She said, no, next week. Hello? Can I speak to the producer? Mm-hmm. Yeah, girl. So next week, I know I'm supposed to come on. New York. New York is there are markets in the United States. New York is the number one market, meaning most powerful, most watched, most viewers. Number one market is New York. Number two market is LA. Number three, I believe, is Chicago. So this was a local news network, but it was in New York, number one market. It's like getting like into like, although it's a county school or whatever, but it's in like right next to Harvard. Anyway, hello? Yeah. So, I'm supposed to do that segment on, such and such show. So I'm not gonna be able to make it, but I have somebody amazing. Her name is Tiffany Aliche. She's incredible. Yep. So she's gonna do that segment instead. Okay. To this day, I don't have the juice for that. I don't have the 10 years in the game. I don't have the juice to get on the phone with a producer and say, I can't do a segment. I'm sending someone. And the producer, sight unseen, says yes. So why am I sharing that? Is because I know in this world where flexing is so hot, and where like I'm on top, is you on top is so high, and you might find yourself on the same stage as someone else. Be like, oh, we the same. I don't even have to. I'm not checking for you. Your roots ain't deep enough. That not that you have to kowtow to anyone, but being mindful because your roots ain't deep enough. My roots still cannot touch my mentor's roots. And like I said, on the surface, y'all be like, Tiffany, you doing better than her. I'm not. The types of phone calls she can make, the types of relationships that she's built, I still aspire to that. So I don't take this shiny stuff on top lightly. I'm still trying to get to where she's getting to. Okay? So I just share that to remember. You can be on the same stage, but not on the same level. And just because you're standing next to someone, you're a light pole and they're a tree, and maybe your light pole is taller than their tree, but they've got deeper roots than you. So as soon as a little bit of friction comes, here you go. And they're still here, still standing. All right, y'all. A word. She said, save this. My sister said, I'm going to save this. All right. Bye.